Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Friday Story Night with Jillian Speaks. Wherever you are tonight, thanks for being here with me. And before we begin, I just wanted to remind everyone that this is a voice only podcast. So you don't need to stay glued on your screen. You can simply listen while lying in bed, driving home, cleaning your space, studying, journaling, or quietly winding down along after a long day. Okay, so um every Friday night we share real and anonymous stories from people around the world. These are stories about love, heartbreak, healing, grief, and parts of the life we often carry silently. Tonight's story comes from a woman in Canada. Her name is Emily, so she gave a permission to share her first name only. And this is the story of the love that changed her life forever. So let's begin reading her letter. Hello, Jillian. My name is Emily, and this is the first time I have ever shared this story publicly. I'm from Canada, and there was once in my life when I truly believed that I already have met the person I was meant to spend the rest of my life with. I was only 26 years old when I met him. Back then, life still felt soft and hopeful. I still believe that if you loved someone deeply enough, and if they loved you back, then somehow everything would work out in the end. He wasn't the most romantic man in the world, but he made me feel safe. And sometimes safety feels more beautiful than passion. We met during winter. I still remember how cold it was the first night we spoke. He offered me his scarf because I had forgotten mine. And I remember going home smiling over something so small and simple. And somehow, that was the beginning of us. For 6 years, he became my entire world. We built routines together. Grocery shopping every day, coffee before work, watching old movies under the blankets while snow fell outside the windows. We spoke about marriage so many times that I honestly thought it was the only matter of time before it happened. We even looked at small homes together sometimes. There was one little white house near the lake that I absolutely loved. I remember standing in the kitchen while he laughed and asked me why women always cared about kitchens first. And I told him, because this is where our future children will run into every morning. I truly believed my future was already waiting for me inside that life with him. But somewhere around our 5th year together, things slowly changed. At first, it was a small change. The phone calls became shorter. The affection became less natural. He stopped looking at me the way he used to. I noticed everything. But I kept convincing myself he was just stressed or tired from work. Kept trying harder to make him happy. I cooked more. I became more patient. I blamed myself for every moment he seemed distant. I thought love meant fighting harder when someone started pulling away. I didn't realize sometimes People are already emotionally leaving before they physically go. One night, he sat across from me at our kitchen table, and I knew, before he even opened his mouth, I knew my life was about to change forever. He looked exhausted, old almost, and then he said, "I don't think I love you." I still remember the sound of the clock ticking on the wall after he said it. Isn't it strange? Not the words, not every sentence. Just the feeling of your heart breaking while ordinary sounds continue around you, like nothing happened. I asked him if there was somebody else, and he said no. So I begged him to stay. That is still the most painful part of me after all these years. Not that he left, but that I loved someone enough to beg them not to abandon me. 2 weeks later, I found out the truth. There was another woman. She was younger, worked with him, and suddenly, all the late nights, emotional distance, and coldness finally made sense. I remember sitting on my bedroom floor that night, unable to breathe properly. Because the cruelest part wasn't losing him. It was realizing that I was still fighting for us. He had already emotionally chosen somebody else. After the breakup, we completely fell apart. I stopped eating properly. I stopped answering phone calls. I barely recognized myself anymore. People around me kept saying, "You'll find someone else. You will move on. Time heals everything." But the truth is, some heartbreaks don't leave cleanly. Some heartbreaks change the way your nervous system experiences love forever. Years passed, then decades. I tried dating again many times. They were kind of men, good men, patient men. But every time someone got close to me, fear would quietly enter the room. I became terrified of abandonment. Terrified that one day they would wake up and suddenly stop loving me too. So I kept people at distance before they could hurt me deeply enough to destroy me again. And eventually, being alone started feeling safer than being loved. Jillian, I never married. I never had children. And somehow life just kept moving quietly around me while I stood up emotionally frozen in one part of my past. I'm 57 now. And sometimes at night I sit quietly beside my living room window, wondering how one heartbreak managed to echo through an entire lifetime. The strange thing is, I don't love him anymore. Not romantically. I forgave him many years ago. But trauma is different from love. Love fades. Trauma stays in the body. Even after all these years, I don't think anyone ever reached the same depth in my heart that he once did before he broke it. And maybe some people listening with you tonight will think that sounds tragic. But I've made peace with it somehow. life still gave me beautiful things despite of loneliness. I've learned independence, resilience. I've learned how to survive quiet nights nobody else sees. But there is one thing I wish someone told my younger self. Is this: please protect your heart while you heal. Because some wounds close, but never completely disappear. Thank you for listening to my story. Ooh, okay. Thank you so much, Emily, our sender from Canada, for trusting us with something so personal and so painful. I think one of the saddest parts of or about heartbreak is that sometimes the person who hurt you moves on normally while you spend years rebuilding the version of yourself that existed before they broke you. And what stayed with me most about her story is this: she no longer loves him, but the trauma of losing him still inside her decades later. It is how powerful emotional pain can be. Sometimes people don't realize that betrayal doesn't only end the relationships. Sometimes it changes the way someone experiences trust, safety, love, and connection for the rest of the life. And to anyone listening tonight who relates Emily's story, please do not hesitate. Please do not hate yourself or the ways heartbreak changed you. Some people become quieter after pain, and some become guarded. Some stop loving loudly because they were afraid of surviving another loss like that again. That does not make you weak, makes you human. And maybe healing is not always about forgetting what happened. Maybe healing is learning how to continue living life while carrying the memory without letting it destroy the rest of your life. To Emily from Canada, thank you for surviving. Thank you for staying soft despite everything life put you through. And thank you for reminding us that some people carry invisible heartbreak for decades without anybody knowing. Thank you everyone for spending a Friday night here with me on a Friday Story Night with Jillian Speaks. And again, this is a voice-only podcast, so wherever you are tonight, I hope this episode kept you company in some small way. Have your own anonymous story you'd like to share, whether it's about love, heartbreak, betrayal, healing, grief, and finding yourself. My inbox is always open. Just find it on the Jillian Speaks Facebook page. We do have our email as well in there, and a form where you can actually fill in. Your story may be the exact thing somebody else's need to hear. Less alone tonight. So if you know someone, feel free to share this with them. Again, please take care of your heart. Be gentle with yourself. And I'll see you next Friday for another story night with Jillian Speaks. Good night, everyone.